Hello, everybody. Surprised to see me. I know. I don't usually come on today, but there's a lot to discuss. A lot is going on. Oh my God, it's almost like information overload out here. And I kind of have a bug in my ear about what I feel like we should kind of be doing. So I'd really like to see what I can do to push that agenda along and see how far we can go. What am I talking about? Guys, we have got the recent security scare involving King Charles and Queen Camilla, and this is coming after the wild weekend assassination attempt on Trump. Not only that, we've got Queen Camilla telling King Charles that he needs to give Prince Harry the cold shoulder. We already knew that the relationship between Prince Harry and Camilla was not great. But she is now openly coming out to say, listen, I don't care whether I scattered your marriage with his mother, you need to stay away from your son as well. Oh, God, how evil can people be? And then you have King Charles. He is in a dilemma because he has decided that he's going to be buying a property in America. But let's think about it. How do all of these shenanigans play into the ongoing drama with Prince Harry and Meghan? So that's what we're here to talk about today. Stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into the Royal Rumble. So, guys, I was taking a stroll in the Forum streets, and guess what I came across? This comment on the screen. I'll just read it to you. It's not going to take that long. Here you got laughing my ass off, and just like that, the Harkle Award spotlight began with the wind. These poor Harkles just can't catch a break. First the Brexit, but wait, COVID took away their thunder. Then the European tour, then the Queen passed. Latest is the awards to put them back in the spotlight. The Pat Tillman Award, then you know the other big and terrible thing that happened. And nobody gives let's say twat about the Markles. I hate what has happened in my country. It's an awful thing that our politics have become so violent. But the irony for me gain and has been, I'm not trying to trivialize what has happened politically. Guys, you know, when you think about something, you think you know something, but it's completely different when you see it in black and white. This is the whole agenda. This is the whole agenda. Is this what I think it is? I know it's just a comment coming from the forum streets and it needs to be taken with a truckload of salt. But have we considered this angle from the royals' perspective? What am I talking about? I'm sure you must be wondering, right? Okay, don't worry. I'm going to break it down to you. So the Rangers are celebrating because something happened to take Harry and Meghan out of the spotlight. For goodness sake, over the weekend, it was completely awash with discussion about Prince Harry and his Pat Tillman Award, whether you were for or whether you were against. What mattered was that Harry and Meghan's name were out there. And it seems that this is what they have the biggest problem with anytime Harry and Meghan's name are in the spotlight. So it seems to me that they are happy now because Trump's assassination attempt knocked the Sussexes out of the headlines. The Trump assassination plot, to me, it looked really sus. But you know what? I did not see King Charles and Camilla adopting the same strategy with the quickness coming. The shamelessness of the British royal family needs to be studied. I am shocked and completely embarrassed at the clout chasing people that the royal family have become. It almost makes me wish that Biden would react at this point by doing something equally audacious instead of sticking to the democratic election script of being gentlemen of the elections. And that Harry and Meghan will also do something audacious. But, before I have anybody sending me hate comments, that's just me. That's just me. Just because I want Harry and Meghan to win and win always. I know. They're too classy, they're too gentle ladylike and gentlemanlike to get up to want to do anything to fight for the spotlight. But my goodness, sometimes I just feel like ripping them from limb to limb. Indeed, all the world is a stage. For those who are not watching closely, you might not see the connection. But if you were just watching just a little bit, you would have noticed that when Kate made her cancer announcement, King Charles was not far behind. And guess what? It solved a multitude of problems that they had at the time. And the strategy has worked beautifully in terms of their PR since the announcement was made. Don't forget that before the cancer announcement, what was in the headlines with regards to the royal family? The R word, right? And since then, that has all but disappeared. It has all but dissipated. So now that Harry was in the spotlight again for doing something great. What did they think about doing? Jumping onto Trump's coattails and borrowing from his rule book. The question might be, why are the royal family sabotaging Harry and Meghan's efforts for positive press? And for those who don't know, because the OGs would think that it's clear as day, it doesn't even need an explanation, but I disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because on a daily basis, the Sussex friendly channels are actually, I think they are successful at converting or persuading one or two persons on a daily or regular basis that the news they have been fed is not true. And if we keep marching on, assuming that everyone is on the same page, those who are just tuning in do not get carried along. It is my humble opinion that the royal media, let's put it like that, they want to make sure that Harry and Meghan are not able to earn any money to fund their lifestyle, and they want them to go broke so that they return to the royal family, cap in hand, begging for royal family help. And Harry and Meghan would literally remove their teeth from their mouths by hand before they would allow that to happen. But in any case, let's proceed. Not only are the royal family trying to make sure that they cut off any source of income from Harry and Meghan, they're trying to make sure that they pressure Harry to drop his case against the Royal Mail. Yep, yep. That, at the end of the day, is the entire issue. Let's not forget. But before we go further, welcome to Isabella Banks' YouTube channel, where we discuss all things Harry, Meghan, politics, and the strategies we need to rebuild our lives after a crisis. If you're new here, I'm Wizzy, and it is great to meet you virtually. Uh, Before I continue, let me just have a look at the comment section. So, hello everyone. Hello everyone. Lorna says, I know what you're talking about, T, but it's sketchy, sis. Okay, not for me. And what's this? Was Charles doing a Trump? That is, do you know what? As soon as I saw the headline, I was like, it matches too perfectly not to be the case. And it's enough that there was a whiff of such an attempt trying to happen. They didn't have to have a full attempt, just a whiff, because I went onto one of uh, uh, um, the Rangers YouTube channels where they were discussing this headline, and they said that there was no real threat, that it was the case of a school child, I think an 8-year-old school child who had a water pistol, and the person was like 10 miles away from where Camilla and King Charles were. But we are living in the sensationalist headline era where everything has to be uh, stretched and exaggerated to for clicks and likes and all of this business. So of course, as soon as they saw that there was a possibility that they could use the headline in that way, they used it, they used it, they used it. But not only they use it, Charles and Camilla must have agreed to it as well. We all know that when the court case, and we all know the reason why they're all doing this because of the court case, the upcoming court case. But before we go further, welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel where we discuss all things Harry and Meghan, politics, and the strategies that we need to rebuild your life after a crisis. If you're new here, I'm Wizzy, and it is great to meet you virtually. As we were saying, they continue to pressure Harry to drop his case against the Daily Mail. We all know that when the case gets caught, there is going to be a process of disclosure where a lot of what the royal family don't want to hit the public space is going to be released to the public. Several government organizations and the underbelly of the British criminal underground are going to be exposed in that trial. That's why they're doing everything that they can to make sure that case is dropped from the court. They were hoping that they had extinguished Prince Harry and Meghan's reputations in the public space to discourage them from participating in public life, only for the Pat Tillman Service Award to happen. And of course, they were not happy with the positive publicity Prince Harry got from receiving that award. So, guess what? What did we see happen next? Okay, what did we see happen next? We saw. Hang on. Before we continue, before we continue, if this is your first time on this channel, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment or two in the comment section. If you have visited before and you have not yet subscribed, let today be the day you decide to subscribe. For all those who have been rocking with me from the beginning, thank you. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section and also hit the like button. Okay, let's continue because I have a lot to get through today. So I will look at the comments in the chat, but I just need to get to a certain point in my slides. Okay. All right. So what did we see happen next? After the Pat Tillman Award, we saw William literally have a tantrum saying he was going to ban Harry from the royal family. I've talked about this yesterday, and if you haven't watched it yet, you will find that video pinned to the top of the comment section in this video when I am done. You can go there and refer to it. But after William's tantrum, what else did we see? What else did we see? We saw Camilla dig her wicked stepmother fangs into William to get him to support her project of making sure that the rift between King Charles and his son Harry remains permanent. Remains permanent. You know, This is what every child who comes from a broken home prays against, having a wicked stepmother like Camilla. Oh my God. Anyway, how do we think King Charles reacted to Camilla's request? King Charles, from my observation from far away that I am at, he has a tendency to lead with a velvet fist, allowing him to easily manipulate Prince Harry, who was so starved for his father's attention while he was growing up. That he thinks his father, when he calls him, he wants to seeks out his company. He thinks, oh, maybe this is the day my father just wants to hang out with me, only for there to be an ulterior motive behind it all the time. Whereas, and so Charles, I think he knows this about Harry and he uses it to his own advantage. But I think that that smoke has cleared from Harry's eyes now. He now sees his father for who he is. Although there is remains, I think there will remain also that affection between the two because of the positions of what they are to each other, father and then son. Whereas and so Charles also maintains the relationship of the positions. No affection, but the positions. Okay. Harry is a good worker. He is the king. He's looked around. William is as useless as a doorknob. And so, what does he do when he gets frustrated? He begins to wish that Harry would come back, not to share the spotlight, but back in the same position that he was before now. And in order to achieve that goal, he is trying to make sure that he cuts off his income, cuts off everything, so that he comes back humble and broken, the same way Sophie and Edward did or that time that they left the royal family to try and strike out on their own. That is Charles's approach. Meanwhile, Camilla and William, they want Charles to be more brutal. They want him to be even more brutal than he has already been. To them, he hasn't even been brutal enough. This is part of the reason that he is letting it be known that he wants to maintain his relationship with Harry and Meghan's children. See, because it doesn't suit him, it doesn't suit his image for him to be seen to be victimizing his son and his grandchildren. So he is letting it be known that he wants to maintain his relationship with Harry and Meghan's children. The difficulty that he faces is that he allowed William and Camilla to convince him to evict Harry and Meghan from Frogmore. So now he has to find a way to repair the damage that that behavior or that action did to his image. Yeah. In line with this, King Charles is said to have purchased a 5.4 million condo in New York's prestigious Billionaires Row. Apparently, this purchase is part of a larger property portfolio and is seen as a move to try to maintain the family ties with his grandchildren while also maintaining his duties as monarch. And I just thought to myself, for goodness sake, why can't you just ever do anything straight? Just if you want to heal the relationship between yourself and Harry and Meghan, what you need to do is really not that difficult. Just apologize. Give them the security. Harry and Meghan will not rely on your security anyway, but it would be symbolic, just as symbolic as when William met with Kate's parents. Where was it? Was it at the races or I think it was at the races. That said to everyone that the relationship is good, that she's still in the king's circle. But when you keep going back and forth and all around and just exhibiting pure evil, your PR, you're gonna have to the money you would have spent taking care of Harry, you spend it paying PR people to keep on doing more and more evil things to Harry. How does that make any sense? Anyway, it seems like he has resigned himself to his fate, that he will definitely be going to hell because he is not far from it himself. But what's the media's role in this conflict? Of course, the media's role, as we have all seen, has been to escalate it and just shape public opinion to make sure that they and the king, they keep the king on course and focused on the objective, whatever the goal is, that they whatever the king was supposed to be doing for them, that they keep him on course and he continues to do what he promised that he would do. So the reports of King Charles's new purchase has stirred public interest, right? People are speculating about his motives and whether it is a wise economic decision to purchase a property in a country for that kind of money where you're not going to make that much use of it. But then they have also said that it will be used for other things as well. In my humble opinion, for all we know, the media could have purchased the property for King Charles just to use him to get to Harry to see what they can do to prevent this case from continuing to move forward. I will keep on harping on about the case because that case, apart from the relationship, we all know that the relationship between Harry and the rest of the royal family was not ideal. But but the main thing that caused the breakdown of the relationship, everything else could have been managed. It was, to me, it was all centered around this court case that Harry refused to drop. So this leads us to the legal conflict, which is the court case that we're talking about, right? Which is Prince Harry and his fellow claimants' allegation of illegal activities against the Daily Mail, such as bugging homes and cars, tapping phones, and obtaining private information through deceptive means. The court's ruling allows that this claim is going to be going forward. And guess what? Harry, in his smart way, has decided that he's going to be sitting down, or rather, he sat down for a perhaps lengthy interview. It wasn't just him; it was him and Hugh Grant who sat down for this interview, which they made into a documentary on the phone hacking, and they have titled it "Tabloids on Trial." This is coming up in 10 days' time. Me, I can't wait. I hope Prince Harry spills the tea, unfiltered, uncensored. I cannot wait to hear what Harry has to say. And but guys, as we watch all of this unfold, I have to say that I believe that we can do more as a team, as fans of Harry and Meghan, just waiting for the latest royal family news or the Sussex news update. The truth of the matter is that Prince Harry and Meghan are facing a formidable opponent in the royal family, and they need as much help as we can give to them. We're already doing a lot, no doubt, but it has scaled down over time. We're not doing as many fundraisers as we used to do. We're not doing as much of the activism work that we used to do. If anybody thinks that Harry and Meghan are not struggling behind the scenes, I think that you are just wishing that things work out. But the reality of the situation is that you know how it works. If you are seeing this much in public, then there is thousand more things happening behind the scenes. We need to do more, and we can do more. And I was thinking about it yesterday that I had mentioned that I could organize a petition to the United Nations Human Rights Council and UNESCO, because I believe that it can make a difference in the support that we're giving to Harry and Meghan against media harassment. And if I get enough requests for it in the comment section, I will be making a video discussing what steps exactly need to be taken in order to bring this petition to the United Nations Human Rights Council. that deal with the freedom of expression and protection from harassment. I think we have gotten to the point where this needs to be discussed and action needs to be taken about it. It's all very well to have good intentions towards someone, but if you're not really doing anything useful, then it's as good as not really doing anything. It's just like when a hungry man asks you for food and you say, "Bless you." Bless what? Give me food to eat. I need help now. Harry and Meghan need help now. I'm not in their corner, but from what I can see outside, just outside looking in, I know that there is so much that they are going through at the moment, and money doesn't solve every problem. And the problem is that they're so big that there's very few things that they can actively discuss with people in terms of the kind of help that they need. Let's see things for what they actually are and put our thumbs, our thumbs for the moment it don't cost any money. Put our thumbs where our mouths are. So if we say we're supporting Harry and Meghan, let's actually do something. Let's do something. Let's not just say, oh, it would be nice. Let's actually get up and do something. I would gladly take this mission up because it's definitely in my wheelhouse. As time goes on, I will certainly be discussing the reason why I think that this is in my wheelhouse. But honestly, if you can't tell, I am completely tired of this useless situation. To me, it just seems like we're going round and round and round and round and round discussing useless things that are being reported by the media. We're always on the defensive. The media get up, they stir some nonsense, and then we have to come behind and clean it up. Why don't we put them under pressure for once? And the under pressure we'll be doing is attacking them from the root, like going underneath and really attacking them from the root. Let them feel the heat for once. And this is not about boasting, it's not about bragging at anybody, it's just about systematically taking steps that will hit them where it hurts. Every day, I want to hear the Sussex news, not just to know what Harry and Meghan are up to, but to see whether things are turning around and changing for them. It hurts my heart to think that this is the life that they're going to be living for the rest of their days. They're just going to be here constantly unable to breathe properly just because the British media exists. That's unfair, and we can do something about it. As I said, I am eager to jump into this task, but for me to get involved, but just based on the fact that one needs influence to make it happen, I have put together a list of things that I would require, at least as a starting point. Requirements needed to file a petition with the United Nations and UNESCO's a minimum of 10K subscribers. So if you're listening to me and you're under the sound of my voice and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead to subscribe. If you know people who can subscribe to make up the number, please call them to subscribe. The reason is because when I have to reach out to people, people will be looking behind me to see, okay, who is this person talking? Okay, she's a YouTuber. All right, how many subscribers does she have? The more subscribers that I have, the more of an impact I'll be able to make. So that is the reason why that is on the list of requirements. Also, I will need at least 1,000 channel members. This action that I'm looking to take is going to take money. The researching, the attending consultations, reporting to move this mission forward is going to take money. But if 1,000 people subscribe to my channel at 4.99 each, we could propel this mission forward at an exponential speed. As I said, instead of always being on the defensive when it comes to Harry and Meghan, we could switch it. We could switch it to the situation where we are on the offensive and they are on the defensive with a strong chance of changing the narrative for good. Also, I need 1,000 Instagram followers. So if you have not yet followed me on Instagram, please go ahead to do so. And the reason for the Instagram followers is that we need to be able to effectively disseminate information to our squad, to the people who are Harry and Meghan supporters, to those who are undecided, to those who are not really committed but would support the cause. This will boost our ability to influence the narrative. So, the more we band together to support this cause, the better as we implement a structured plan to change the media narrative. I am, as you can tell, as you can probably tell, I am tired of the nonsense. I am ready to do something to make this change this narrative. I am tired of them um, treating Harry and Meghan as though they are um, not worth anything. I'm tired of the kind of pressure they are putting on Harry and Meghan. I think that we need to wake up. I'm not suggesting that we are asleep. It's great that we feel pity and compassion and talk about Harry and Meghan kindly. But as I said, we need to have some heat behind our affection for them. And the more we can do that safely, the better. So, guys, I need you to think about it, think about what I have said today, and begin to leave me comments in the comment section if you think that this is a course that we can undertake. As I said before, if I am able to get enough comments about this in the comment section, I will do a video outlining the exact steps that we can take to turn this thing around. Profit Friday on before Sabbath. Pardon me. Turn this thing around. And hold on a second. Where was I? Yep. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Do you think we can achieve this? Do you think we can band together to help Harry and Meghan fend off the avalanche of public negativity they are facing? I would like to really know, who is Camilla? Like, really, who is Camilla? Who is Sophie? Who is Edward? Who are those people who feel that they have the right um, to make Harry and Meghan endure the kind of life that they're currently going through? But there is a limit to how much Harry and Meghan can do by themselves. They're just two people. So let me know what you think in the comment section. If you think that this is possible and if you are able to do it, can I fire you up to get people to support this channel so that we can band together with the common goal of, instead of every day coming online to talk about the latest negative headline, let's band together and do something to change it. I am sick to death, sick to death. And for those people in America, my cheeky suggestion to you guys is to tell Biden to get up and do something audacious, because what I don't like what I'm seeing online at the moment concerning the latest attempt on Trump. I don't like what I'm seeing at all, at all. And the British people are not helping. The far right have left the UK. Can you imagine? Those who have just been elected, Liz Truss and Nigel Farage, are now in America coming over to support who? Trump. Guys, the battle is real. Anyway, before I head off, let me now look at the comments in the comment section. Uh, to Let me look at the comments in the comment section and before I head up. Okay, so Lorna says this condo is not repairing the damage, it's a PR move. If King Chucky goes to New York where the Daily Mail has an office, it's halfway. I can see the headlines. Why does H I'm guessing why does H not meet me head halfway? He would be expected to do so. He would be expected to meet King Charles halfway if he does come to America. It would not be unusual, I think is what I really mean to say. It would not be unusual if the condo in New York is there and King Charles goes to America. If he gives Harry an invitation to come and see him, it would be expected that Harry would drop everything he was doing to go see the king. So I definitely see that. Thing is also that don't forget they're not a regular family. So the because of what has happened so far, there is a complete lack of trust, I think, on both sides, regardless of who is at fault. The guilty will always feel like will always feel paranoid, and Harry will also feel paranoid. So, how they would work that out, I don't know, but certainly, um, it's not an easy one. Boney Mighty, I hope ITV doesn't edit what Harry said and report it exactly. But you see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's almost like the narrative is in the hands of the other people. Why don't we shake it loose? Find an avenue to have our voice also be heard. What does it matter? I think that before they could get Harry and Hugh Grant to sit down to do the interview, they would agree to certain things. So, legally speaking, there are certain things that they would not be able to do. However, they would also want to not make it too positive. Remember, ITV still has to do business in the UK where the king exists. Penny says, you have my support. I'll sign it. I'm a Caliph born girl raised like Meghan and Princess Lily. Thank you, my love. Wheezy, you're in the UK. What about a petition to reopen the Levinson inquiry? I will write that down and find out what is required. Perhaps that would be the place to start from before. But then if we're thinking about doing that, you got to wonder why Harry hasn't also made for the outcome of this case before he makes that request. It that might be the case, you know. Uh Petition to reopen Levinson inquiry. Uh Harry and Meghan have been through enough. Exactly. I think so. They have been through so much. And they as for people so young, I think they're so brave. Yes, they lost there, but they're trying to help him win here. We are in Badamo here. I don't believe that. Did Charles meet Harry when he came to the UK? I wouldn't trust that man as far as I could throw him. Yes, absolutely. But all Harry can do is to make sure that he secures his himself secure. He just has to make sure that he strengthens himself, strengthens his position, strengthens his family, and then they can move forward. Most of Royal Rodent tabloids have offices in New York City. Prince Harry would be walking into trouble. Most likely. But you guys, don't forget the position in here. We're not just talking about an ordinary father and a son. We're talking about a king and his subject. Harry remains a UK subject and he can be commanded by the king to appear. Charles does not care about Harry. Robert Jobson has made that very clear, and I'm sure that he understands that clearly now. Yep, I'm sure he knows that, but they never had that kind of affectionate familial relationship anyway. We're talking about the relationship between a commander and his subject. Harry needs to just ensure that he secures his position. Hmm, popular. I agree with you entirely. Harry should only meet with him if he comes all the way to Montecito. Okay. So on this issue, right, as a UK citizen, I am speaking to you now on this issue as a UK citizen. It's up to you guys whether you want to accept my point of view as a UK person or not. Harry cannot openly decline a meeting with his father, the king. He can't. If King Charles asks him to do something, he has a legal obligation to be there. He can make certain requests to secure himself while he is in the place, but he cannot refuse to see his father. If his father says, I am going to be in America at so and so place by so and so time, I require your presence. Harry has an obligation to be there. He cannot refuse. He is a subject of the United Kingdom. What Harry needs to do is to secure himself, make enough money so that whatever he is happens to him while he's preparing to meet, while he is there and afterwards does not impact him or affect him or his family in any way. It would be easy. It would have been lovely and easy for him to just flick his finger and say, I don't want to have anything to do with you. You can't say anything to me and you can't do nothing. That would be lovely and easy. But is it realistic? No, it's not. So it'd be great if we can start looking and operating in what is possible and what is realistic. Then we don't get heartbroken when Harry makes a move that seems like it would be strange to us. These reporters says Charles is king first and father after. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Uh, since there is evidence of perjury, UK justice system has an obligation to reopen the Levinson inquiry, especially under public pressure. Yep, yep. Well, how many UK people are in these streets um, making a case for the Levinson 2 inquiry to be reopened? It's a case of them having muddied the waters and trying to make sure that nobody would dare to even ask for such a thing, which is why I immediately thought of the UN. But when I'm thinking about it, actually, the UN might be on the route the Levinson 2 inquiry, making the petition to reopen the Levinson 2 inquiry may be one of the steps that need to be taken before we get to the UN, because you have to show that you made an effort to deal with the matter internally before it is catapulted to the United Nations. So maybe we need to make the petition, even though we know that it's going to be refused, and then while even all the while knowing that we're going to be pushing forward to the United Nations. No, Patricia, under no circumstances should Charles be allowed to Harry's home, because rest assured he will be inviting the media. Mm. The queen was the same way. She was queen first and mom second. Except when she was hiding that mobile phone that she used to talk to Harry and Meghan when they arranged to bring the kiddies to the UK. You say that Harry is a subject and if he commands, he has to go. But Harry can say, screw you, you took. No, he can't. He can't. He cannot. He cannot. He can't. This is the part of the Britishness that is alien, I suppose, to you guys because you're mostly American. And for the most part, the British monarchy makes no sense to you guys. I see it, I know it exists. I don't worship it, but I see and know the strengths, at least from an outsider's perspective. I know the strengths and I know what is entirely possible. So, so it's not as simple as Harry just saying, "No, I can't do it." You can't. Harry can't talk to his father the way he would talk to an average person would talk to their father. That's just not possible. It would not work. Harry is a private citizen in the US, and the United States Department cannot force him to meet with Charles if he does not want to. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you guys about this. You think of it any way that you want to. Practically speaking, though, I'm just telling you that it doesn't work that way. Harry is a private citizen, but he's still a subject of the United Kingdom. And if Charles Mates demands his presence, he has to appear. So, guys, this is what Harry is dealing with, and I think if we band together against what are the challenges, actual challenges that Harry and Meghan are facing, we can turn the narrative around. We don't have to accept the negative media. We don't have to. We don't have to. We can turn things around, but we can do more than just coming online to say, hey, this is what they have done today, and hey, this is what they have done tomorrow. No, let's do something to turn things around, is what I'm talking about. So I will read this last. I will read this last comment. Puppy love, this whole thing about Charles going to the US is the UK media's plan, not Charles. Charles threw them out and left them without security. Is that someone who loves his family? It's clearly PR. It's clearly PR, obviously. It's clearly PR, obviously, but he has a duty to repair his image. Sussex Love says, you didn't read all the comments. They also told him he couldn't leave. He commanded him not to leave. He left anyway. No, he didn't command him not to leave. They tried to negotiate and they gave Harry 5 options and they asked him to choose. And when he chose the half in, half out, they then decided that they didn't want him to choose the half in, half out and forced him into, you got to leave entirely. I know that this concept of Harry and being the subject of the king and having to obey his father's commands is something that you might struggle with as an American, but it is what it is. So I think if you don't take my word for it, ask some other British people. Maybe I might just be delusional. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to read. I don't know. But this is kind of the way it works. This is why you have seen Harry not giving his father a lot more grace than his father actually deserves because he cannot directly speak negatively about his father, as he's not looking at him. If he was just looking at him as a father, I'm sure he would have loved to shred his father to pieces because he has been horrible to him. But he's also looking at him as his position as the king. And so that made him to really dial back what he would have loved to say about his father as well. Poppy Love says Harry is still fifth in line to the throne, regardless of the situation. Yeah, yeah. Well, Harry did only step back, but could Harry leave completely? Well, he has left. He has left completely. It's just that if his father asked him, how we started talking about this is when we're talking about King Charles's purchase of a property in America, right? And some people were saying if Charles asked Harry to go, Harry could tell his father to get away, you. I'm paraphrasing, but a similar kind of sentiment. And I'm saying to you that Harry cannot do it. Number one, because King Charles is the king. Harry is subject to the king. As a subject to the king, as a member of the royal family, he cannot. This is a concept that doesn't operate in America. So I can completely understand why you guys will struggle with it. But I'll give an example of how Harry has handled his exit from the royal family and how he has handled his father in the book, in the documentary, in everything, for you to see that he actually has handled his father with kid clothes. And I know a lot of people have said he has given his father more grace than his father deserved. Do you think Harry don't have a lot to say? I'm sure he has a lot to say, but he is also very conscious of what he is able to do as the son of the king. What can Charles do if he doesn't follow his command? Well, I think he could make things a lot more difficult now than they already are. The rules are different from for him, and that's why you have seen Harry behave or move in a way that people don't understand but think um don't understand and think, oh, he's giving his father too much grace. No, he has to. He has to. He cannot speak to his father any kind of way. King Charles is the king. And he's not just, although we look at it and say, oh, he's a ceremonial king, he's a tin hat soldier. But King Charles has a lot of power. The royal family has a lot of power. I think it is better to recognize who your enemy is than for you to be dismissive of your enemy because your emotions says I don't like him and so I have to dismiss him. No, recognize him, see him for what he is, and strengthen yourself so that you can battle against the real threat that the man is. Um, Lorna says Prince Harry is a private citizen, but he's also royal. The rules are different for him. Yep, that is because US Department signed on certain diplomatic rules for European royalty. Yep, and yep. Okay, guys. This is all I wanted to discuss with you guys this evening. So have a think about it. I'm going to be reminding you of what we can possibly do in the coming weeks. And if I get enough people supporting this mission, like I mean about 100 comments saying, let's have the video. And by the time we're ready to go, I laid out my requirements: 10K subscribers, 1K channel members, 1K Instagram followers. If I can get these three things, I will be all over the case. That's all I will spend my time doing. And it would be great for us to be the ones behind have been able to force the British media to start reporting. They don't even have to report neutrally, but they would have to start reporting factually, at least, on Harry and Meghan. Guys, thank you so much for being here. And I will see you again next time. This is Wheezy signing out. Bye. Bye.